You've spoken about like how bullying was taken to too far an extent, the word itself. What do you want to say about if Victoria and some of the other women went too far and what was maybe blown out of proportion?
I think people don't realize that there's a lot of women in the house and we're all doing our own things. Like we all have to do separate interviews. We all have to do separate like chats. We're all talking to Matt alone. So we don't see what's going on outside of our little bubble. So I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't believe Chelsea said there wasn't bullying in the house. It's like, I'm not there for, first of all, I never said there wasn't bullying in the house.
Yeah.
Let me just clear that up. I never, ever once said there was not bullying or that I condone bullying.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't there for any of the drama or the conversations that were happening privately that you get to see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not in the room, I did not see or hear those things happening. And especially with people in their interviews, like for example, Victoria with the name calling and all of her interviews, I didn't see any of that until I watched it and saw it with the rest of the world. So yeah. I don't think any of that is cool. She said a lot of like messed up shit that I'm not okay with. Yeah. But there was a lot of like there were so many good times in the house too. We all have a really great friendship. And I think everyone will see that going forward with us being able to be in contact now and hang out with each other and visit each other. So yeah, hopefully people will realize everything's not exactly how it was portrayed.
I saw that you were celebrating Abigail's birthday. Was it Abigail's birthday?
Yes.
Want to visit?
Yes.
How was that?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Or I didn't know
that
Abigail on the show, so that's cool to see.
Yeah, Abigail and I were close on the show just because we hung out together and stayed out of the drama. So obviously you didn't really get to see it because we were kind of just like chilling together and reading and stuff, being boring. But she just moved to New York and I've been here for almost 6 years. So she came here and I've been like taking her out on the town and showing her. So we've just been hanging out and like going to brunch and like going to get drinks and stuff. But no, you're good. When we're out together, that's when people really like will notice and come up to us and be like, oh my God, are you guys from the show?
Is there something like a number one thing they always ask when they see you on the streets? And how is that to have people recognize you now and come up to you?
It's taking some getting used to. I mean, I personally don't mind and love when people come up because it's just like, it's nice and they're so excited and I'm like happy to take a picture or say hi. But now it's getting like a little bit more. The only time I feel weird about it is when it's like I'm near my apartment and I'm like, I feel weird in my own neighborhood when people are like, okay, I'm like, oh God, people are gonna know where I live. Like people see me looking busted on the street when I'm just going to get a coffee or something. But yeah, it's definitely something that takes some getting used to.
So who else are you still close to from the cast? You and MJ definitely had a friendship. Are you not allowed to talk about that? Or like
no, I can. Piper and I are very close. Serena C and I were close in the house. I've seen her a couple of times since we wrapped filming. Mm-hmm. And Bree, I mean, I've seen people that have like been in New York or just live in New York. Ileana was my roommate and she lives in New York too. So I've seen her a couple times.
Ileana was your roommate or?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. That's funny.
Yeah, she's my roommate on the show. She left like kind of early. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never mind. But yeah.
Yeah, she was my roommate on the show. But she left kind of early. So I was heartbroken. And then I had a room by myself for the rest of the time, which was good and bad.
Did you see yourself falling in love with Matt or like developing real feelings for Matt? How did that exactly go for you on the show?
I definitely felt like there was a potential there where I could fall for him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stuck around. Yeah. And the more I got to know him, the more I liked him and feelings were definitely developing. I unfortunately didn't get a one-on-one date. And I know that if I had, I'm sure our connection would have just grown even more. But yeah, I wasn't at the point where I was falling in love with him because I just didn't get the chance. I didn't have enough time.
Are there any what ifs that you have looking back on the show? Or is it just kind of like life happens, everything happens for a reason?
I mean, I definitely thought about that when I'm there and when I was leaving. That's even what I said when I was walking out. It's just like, we'll never get to know what would have happened had we had that time, had we gone on a one-on-one. So that's really the only what if. I don't regret anything, and I'm okay with and happy with how it went. I do believe that like everything happens how it's supposed to. Matt's not my person, but my person's still out there. So you never know what this is going to lead to.
This might be something you can't talk about, but Bachelor in Paradise, would you see yourself wanting to go on that? Or is that kind of like a no rules talk about right now?
I just don't know how I feel about it at the moment because of everything that's happened in Bachelor Nation. I'm just not sure if I'd want to go on another show.